Hi everyone, Nika Onolafor back for another video. Thank you to all my new subscribers. Thanks for joining the community. And I'm gonna be talking about the invisible Black woman today. I wrote a book, my second book, and it is about being an invisible Black woman. And I'm gonna be as honest and authentic here as I can because I am really at this point searching for my community, my target audience. And one of the things that happens when you write a book or even when you make content is that, they talk a lot about niching down and also, finding your target audience. The people who buy your books, although I, love and appreciate the support, oftentimes the people that initially buy your book, especially, they may not necessarily be your target audience, right? So I'm going to be breaking down and unpacking invisibility over the next several weeks, possibly several months. This is to me, it's a complicated topic. And to be honest with you, it seems almost like uncharted territory. Now, I do know that there are a lot of, books out there written by Black women on very, sensitive, vulnerable topics. I don't know of a lot of books about being an invisible Black woman. So this is a calling that was given to me. And as they often say, it was not a conference call. So with that being said, I recognize that a lot of people, a lot of even women may not understand, what I mean when I talk about being an invisible woman. This message may not resonate with everyone, but I know it resonates with someone. And I am determined to find that someone. And if this resonates with you in any way, please do subscribe to my channel. And so let's just kind of get into it. I guess I want to just start off by what I'm going to do is do my best to unpack the archetype of the invisible Black woman. Who is she? There's of course no monolithic invisible Black woman. We all have our own unique experiences. However, I would say that there are some things that are similar about our experiences. And so, I just want to highlight something. Issa Rae, one of the things I admire about Issa Rae, not only the fact that she got her start on YouTube with Awkward Black Girl, but also what she did with Awkward Black Girl is she created an archetype. She created sort of a blueprint of a person, of a woman that many, many Black women could relate to. And so, clearly, her idea took off because she later ended up on HBO and the rest is history. We all know who she is. And so, I think about that and I think about the invisible Black woman, and where the idea came from is really in the media. I would hear oftentimes about Black women feeling unseen and invisible. I have my own stories, which I share in my book about the ways in which I felt and sometimes still feel invisible. And I've never really heard it being unpacked. I think that's kind of my thing. It's like, I would hear about it, someone would mention it, and then it was just like never mentioned again. And so as I just, was thinking about my life, my journey, as I thought about my memoir, and in many ways, my memoir is to some degree, a collection of essays and poems. I thought about what was the thread, or what was the sort of the running thread throughout my story, and a lot of it revolved around invisibility, and so so one of the things I've been praying about and asking for is to be more authentic. I want to be more authentic as far as not only in my writing, but also in my speaking and the way that I, relate to others. And that's something that I'm still seeking and working on. So with that being said, I'm going to say that, writing, I'm learning, and shout out to my coach for helping me with this, but I'm learning that, writing is a journey. And I think initially I approached this topic like, oh, I'm going to unpack this and and explain the invisible woman. And, and I think after writing the book, I realized, how much is there, but then also how much more there still is to unpack. So in a lot of ways, my book is scratching the surface on what is a very complicated topic to me. I understand that this topic may not be complicated to everyone, and please comment below if you have your own stories of feeling like an invisible Black woman. But, I had to come to terms with the fact that, although my story, I don't know how else to say this, but my story may not be, to some extent, it's not, I didn't write the story to entertain. I don't know if you can understand that, but it's, I think it potentially could be entertaining, but I think, oftentimes in our modern culture, of course, everyone has a short attention span, and everyone wants the juicy details, right? And everyone wants the tea, so to speak. And sometimes, when you are trying to unpack something, when it's about your own life, when it's complicated, when you yourself are still trying to make sense of things and understand things and piece things together, that may not always be entertaining. It may be interesting, it may be intriguing. You may leave with more questions than you have found answers, right? Like you may read the book and be like, oh, I even have more questions. But that is kind of the sentiment that, I want to create. And that's what I have to accept, is that it's, I don't think my story and why I'm here, it definitely doesn't have to do with being light, although I appreciate those who have subscribed and hope that more people will join the community. But I understand that some of the topics I talk about can be controversial. Even in my book, and the way I see the world, my lens, sometimes my unpopular opinion can be considered controversial. And, that may not sit right with everyone. Some people hear the phrase invisible woman, and they think, what are you even talking about? That doesn't make any sense. That's not even a real thing. So I recognize that. And I think the challenge is to push forward anyway. Because if you were given an idea that came from God, that's your calling, right? And it doesn't have to make sense for everyone. It just has to make sense for the people who you're doing it for. Your target audience, your niche. That's who it needs to make sense for. So I do believe that there are invisible Black women out there. I believe that there's invisible women, period, right? But my channel is, as I say, I make the invisible visible for Black women. So I know that you all are out there, and my hope is that you join my community here. And like I said, comment below if you can relate. I suppose if you can't relate, you're more than welcome to leave a respectful comment as well. One of the things about, the typical archetype of, Black women, one of the things about the typical archetype is, of the strong Black woman, is that the strong Black woman may not necessarily admit that she is still trying to figure things out, and that she doesn't have it all together, right? Like, that archetype, so to speak, of a woman, oftentimes is pretty self-assured, knows what she wants, able to advocate for herself, and, not very vulnerable, and all those things. And I can be those things, but then I could also not be those things. And so I'm highlighting the fact that, again, on this channel, what I'm really trying to do is be open about the fact that I don't have it all figured out, but that still doesn't exempt me from being able to write a book about a topic that I am, interested in. Also, I recognize that my truth and my emotions may make people uncomfortable. That is one of the hard truths of being a writer, and also one of the hard truths of being a content creator. As a artist, period. When you put your art out into the world, you don't know how it's going to be received. Your only hope is that somebody, and hopefully a community of people, will be impacted by it. So also getting in touch with feelings and emotions. So again, that's something that, I do hear this narrative online now on social media about Black women, the need and the desire for us to be vulnerable and not be strong, and like just kind of be more quote unquote feminine or whatever it is. And I hear that, although that is a new narrative, a lot of the femininity content that's, that exists and all of that. And I think all that is good. I consume some of that content. However, I still think that there's deeper layers, deeper layers where we can go. And yeah, and I think, you all have heard me speak about some of the external ways in which, Black women, we express ourselves through whatever it might be. Like I said, hair, nails, lashes, contacts, clothes, all these external, purses and shoes. But, the internal is also much more valuable. And that's what I'm interested in. And I hope that you all are interested in that too. So over the course of the next, I guess, while, again, every video won't be about being an invisible woman, but I will, like I said, periodically put some videos on here where I will be going deeper into topics within my book. If you want to purchase my book, if you're interested, click the links in the description. There's my website where you can go there, or you can link directly to Amazon and purchase the book there. Also follow me on Instagram if you want to do that as well. But yeah, you can't control the perception. One of the things about, again, like I said, being a writer, being a content creator, is you realize that once you put art, content, books out into the world, you cannot control the perception of others. You have no control over if somebody's gonna, like your work, hate your work, be offended by it, be moved by it, whatever it is. Like, that's completely out of your control. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people say that they will write a book and never will. Say that they want to create content, but they never really do, or at least don't do it on a level where, it's sustainable to make a living off of, or whatever. Like, it's not easy to put yourself out there for the world to consume. However, in my case, I like I said, I just want to be more authentic, and I'm, of a certain age. I'm 40, and I recognize that, life is short, and, I want to make my mark, whatever that might be, which is why, I'm making these videos. One of the things I'm learning about is, like writing. I'm a writer. I've been a writer for a long time, but it's something that, you continue to learn about. And I'm, still finding my voice as a writer and also as a content creator. And, there's an internal dialogue that often goes on in our heads. And what I'm trying to do is, rather than allow a lot of those moments to pass and forget whatever I was thinking, but is to capture those moments. And I tried my best to do that in my book. I hope I'm doing that with my content. And so you all have heard me talk about launching a business next year. And it's going to be coaching, consulting authors, if you are an author who wants to self-publish a book, and also if you want to be a content creator, and also public speaking. So if you have an event or anything and you're looking for a Black woman like me to come speak, I would love to do that. So I think that's all I want to share today. But again, thank you all for watching. Please subscribe, like the video, comment, let me know your thoughts on the topic, and stay tuned for more videos. Bye.